Yo, 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 hey, what up, y'all? What up, y'all? Back at it again. Through the spirit and power, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But before we get started, first and foremost, we want to give all the praises, the glory, and the honor unto Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kakwadash. And the Lord will, this lesson is edifying for the hopeful elect and the nation of Israel, and the nation of Israel only. We're gonna go ahead and get into it, man. So this title, this lesson, this live stream, we're going into talking about this this unjabbed tribulation, worldwide, man, covering a variety of different topics, touching on that, man, because we see the tribulation, the hour of temptation in general, man. We in the hour of temptation right now, spoken about in the scriptures, man. And we see that tribulation boiling and boiling and boiling more to really pierce the hearts of the people, man. Really make them, really force them to make a decision, man. Really force them to decide, what it is, what direction they want to go down, man. Let's go ahead and get a preset real quick before we start that out. Let's go to the book of Second Esdras. Actually, you know what? I want to get the one in the book of Matthew first. So it touches on a word that I want to hit on. Let's go to Matthew the 7th chapter. All right, this is Matthew the 7th chapter and the 13th verse. It says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." It says, "Straight is the gate, and narrow is the way that leadeth to life," man. And that word "straight," STRAIT, meaning difficult, man. So this says we got to enter into the difficult gate. So the time we headed into, or I mean, the times that we in right now, it's time to put that time we headed into language behind us, man. It's the time that we in. Now we still got future events to happen that who knows when they're gonna pop off in full swing. But we are in the times. We're in the time right now, man. We damn near in Jacob's trouble, man. We ain't in the full swing of Jacob's trouble yet, but we damn near in Jacob's trouble. Let's go ahead and get that, man. Let's go to Jeremiah the 30th chapter. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. "Alas, for that day is great, so that there so like alas for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." So we're in the time period right now where we're gonna need salvation. We're gonna need saving. To the time, the events that are taking place currently and are about to begin taking place even more in a even more pronounced fashion, it's going to require salvation. That's the point of "he shall be saved out of it." It's going to be so bad. It's going to be so tumultuous. It's going to be so downtrodden, the state of the world, man. And we're going to need salvation to get out of it. We ain't going to be able to get up, walk, pick up our bootstraps, walk up a ladder, and we out of it, man. We're not going to be able to run, as fast as we can and be able to get saved out of it, man. We're going to need divine intervention to be able to get out of this trouble that we're headed into, man. That's the point of "he shall be saved out of it." He says he shall be saved. Not he's going to save himself. Not he's going to climb out of it himself. Not he's going to run away from it himself. Not he's going to shoot everyone down and kill everyone himself. It says he shall be saved out of it, man. Meaning what? We're going to need a savior, a redeemer, being who? Yahweh Shai, to come back and deliver us and redeem us out of that situation that we in. But so that goes to show it's going to be a difficult situation. Meaning what? That straight gate. That hard, built that hard period of time, man. That's the times that we in right now, and we headed into in a more pronounced fashion. And we see a multitude of different ways in which the enemy, the devil, in the physical form, being Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is priming up that tribulation spirit in the world, man. And one of the main ways he's doing that, one of the main gateways in which he's using that, is this whole goddamn poke, man. That's one of the main things he's using to push that spirit of tribulation in the world, where you got to make a decision to walk on the straight and narrow or to side with him, man. But us as a people, we got to remember this right here. Let's go to Proverbs the 3rd chapter, man, because we have guides via the scriptures, from the Lord Himself, via the prophets, the big saying, the wise sayings of old, from our great forefathers that are giving us instructions about what we should do and what our mindset should be. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31. "Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the forward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. So it says his secret is with the righteous. What is a secret, man? A secret is something that's precious. So you don't want to get out, man. So you want to keep it in the family. You know, it's so precious, it's so valuable that you want to keep it in the family, man. What is the family? This truth, this Israelite nation, man. If you side with the oppressor, you no longer in the family. You no longer keep that secret, man. Which is that secret is that righteousness, that treasure, this understanding, this and being holy and separate. That's the secret, man. It says his secret is with the righteous. You know, separate, being separate and holy, having the true wisdom and understanding, fear of the Lord. You know, that's that secret, but it's only with the righteous. Meaning what? Not even just Israelites, but the elect of the nation of Israel, man, these last days. Let's go to Romans the 11th chapter. And we're gonna get into the articles, but I just want to go down these real quick because it's laying the groundwork, man. This Romans the 11th chapter and the fourth verse. But what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. That's a spiritual number right there, because although this is referencing the account in First Kings, the 19th chapter. Let's go to that real quick. Before we do that, Shalom, bro. Big Al 144, a Shalom Mak. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shabakatha. The water for coming through, man, and hearing this word, man. But let's go to First Kings, the 19th chapter, because that 7 is a spiritual number, but it's actually representing an account of old as well. It's the book of First Kings. I'm not sure. I'm in First Samuel. Let me go to First Kings. It's the book of First Kings, the 19th chapter. And this is going to the escape of Elijah, you know, from the hands of Jezebel and whatnot. This is the book of First Kings, chapter 19. And I'm going to start at, let me just get the point. I'm going to start at verse 17. And it shall come to pass that him that escapeth the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escapeth the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed to Baal, and every mouth which hath not kissed him. So what is that? It's a spirit. You're not actually literally kissing, you know, a damn statue, man, a damn pagan statue, man. You're not actually kissing it. You know, you're not actually, going up to it, giving it a peck on the cheek and whatnot. Yeah, it's a spiritual kiss, which symbolizes love. Let's go to and you're only supposed to be doing that for Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Let's go to Psalm the 2nd chapter to go into touch on that point about that kiss. A point, you know, not just myself, but a lot of brothers bring out. This is Psalm chapter 2 and verse 12. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry. So are we actually kissing Yahweh Shai? You know what I'm saying? Nah, man. It's just, you know, kissing the Son, meaning loving the Son, reverencing the Son, honoring the Son. You know what I'm saying? Showing the Son that love. And how do you show them that love, man? Let's go to John the 14th chapter. This is John chapter 14 and verse 15. Actually, this is John chapter 14 and verse 13. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. Because I want to get that point real quick first, because it shows, like I said earlier, you aren't supposed to kiss Yahweh spiritually, of course, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But when you're kissing Yahweh, in order to kiss Yahweh, you got to kiss Yahweh Shai. You know, like I did the lesson last week, going to the gateway to Yahweh, or the path to Yahweh, going through Yahweh Shai. But you gotta, in order to kiss and love Yahweh, like I said, that spiritual kiss, being that love, that reverence, that honor, you got to do the same thing to the Son. So the Son and the Father go hand in hand. But this is verse 14, because like it says that the Father may be glorified in the Son. So the Father and the Son go. Of course, the Father is first, but they go hand in hand. Verse 14, if ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. If ye love me, keep my commandments. So how do you kiss the Son? You kiss the Son by keeping the commandments, the law, statutes, commandments, and of course having the faith, because the faith is the most important thing. If you believe the words of the Apostle Paul, the faith is most, and not even just that, but all throughout the scriptures hints at faith being an integral part of this truth. I mean, even going back to Moses, when he hit the rock, instead of what was it? Can't remember off the top of my head. Man, it's been so long since I read that precept. Um, Instead of speaking to it, yeah, when he hit the rock, instead of speaking to it, man, that's your lack of faith. So yeah, the commandments is what you keep to show the Most High that you love Him, show you how shot you love Him. To really, to like I said, to kiss the Son, you got to keep the commandments. But in order to keep the commandments, you got to have faith that those commandments are true. You got to have faith that this is the way to go. You got to have faith that this is the way in which you should walk in. Let's go to Isaiah the 30th chapter. You got to have that faith, man, that this is the way that you should walk in. It's Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 21. Actually, verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee. And what's our ultimate teachers? Our ultimate teachers is the prophets, man. Ultimate teachers are the words that we got right here in the scriptures, man. Now, of course, you got teachers in today's world as well, but our ultimate teachers is the literal prophets of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? The disciples of the Most High, Yahweh Shah himself, you know, those are the real teachers, man. And of course, like I said, you got teachers today as well who read and understand this word, who can also teach the nation. But primarily, first and foremost, is the prophets and the apostles of old, man, in the ancient world. Those are our teachers, man, who have showed us the Most High's word through the scriptures, man. So we're in this time period right now, through us getting that life, coming from that dry bone state and us getting that life, the Most High is allowing us our eyes to be open so we can see our teachers. And then verse 21, and thine ears shall hear a word, because like as it says in the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter, the things just roughly paraphrasing, the things of this world are not framed by, basically the principles of the world are not framed by the things of this world. I think it's Hebrews 11 and 3 or verse 4. But going into how the Most High, He framed all the things of the world, but He uses different people to teach His frameworks. He uses different people to illustrate for Him. But He's the one that institutes all the things of all the structure of the framework. But there's certain people, sort of apostles, disciples of old, prophets of old, have been the artists per se of the Most High's canvas. That's kind of how it works. So the Most High is allowing us to see the artists, the teachers. And He's the ultimate teacher, but He uses different artists to paint His picture. You see what I'm saying? Verse 21. And thine ears, and even in today's world, you got certain brothers who the Most High is using as well to paint that picture through teaching the words of the Most High via reading the text of the prophets, the text of the disciples, the apostles, Yahweh Shai, getting the right understanding, being able to form thoughts that are palatable to the digestion for the masses spiritually. Verse 21 though, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right or when you turn to the left. So we got it. Part of having faith is believing that this is the way that we should walk in, man. Not the oppressor's way, not the heathen's way. That's part of having the faith. So when Moses didn't hit the rock, instead when he didn't speak to the rock, but instead he hit the rock, he struck it. That showed lack of faith. So going back to John the 14th chapter, when it says, if you love me, keep my commandments. Yeah, we got to keep the commandments. That's true. And that shows your faith, because it shows that you believe the things written down are the way that you should walk in, or is what you should structure your faith around. They don't the two go hand in hand in that way as well. But ultimately we are saved by faith, because we can't keep the commandments perfectly. But continuing on, going back to Isaiah, First Kings, the 19th chapter. This is First Kings, the 19th chapter, and like I said, the 18th verse. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which had not kissed him. So you go to Romans, the 11th chapter again. It says, verse 4, but what saith the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the need to the image of Baal. So that is referencing a historical account in First Kings, the 19th chapter, going into when Elijah was on the run, he was basically pleading to the Lord and asking the Lord, is it just me? Am I all alone in this? And the Most High just assuring him and letting him know, no, you're not. I got 7,000 men as well who basically on the same path as you, not bound the need to the image of Baal, as Jezebel was instituting within the land. But that's a whole nother story to break all that down. But that's basically the summary of it. And going back to but in modern day context, like I said, this is referencing a historical account. But in modern day context, 7,000 is a spiritual number, man, because we don't know all the men. We know there's going to be at least 144,000. That's going to be of that those judges. The top of the top is that 144,000, but we don't know how many complete amount of men in the world right now. The seven with seven representing completion. We don't know the complete amount of men in the world right now who are not going to bow the knee to the image, who are not going to take the jab, who are not going to take the MARK, who are not going to submit themselves to the wicked practices and the wicked ideologies, philosophy wise and physical wise, who are not going to uh, partake in the wicked ways of this world, via all the sanctions and restrictions, and in terms of their spirit being one with it, and them thinking that's it's actually a good thing for society, and them being lockstep in line with the New World Order protocols and principles, man. We don't know how many men total are going to be of that number. We don't. It's seven being completion, 7,000 men in this time period, man. A complete amount of men who are not going to bow the knee to the image, man. Because of what? Verse 5. Even so, then at this present time, also there was a remnant according to the election of grace. And if by grace, then is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work. Verse 7 is the point. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So it says the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So this straight and narrow path, this difficult path, this when all the world is telling you to go in this direction, but you know the way you should walk in, and you go in the opposite direction, especially because that opposite direction is gonna bring you more trials, more tribulations, more hard times, more difficulty in regards to just not just yourself, but yourself and yourself as well in regards to your relationship with others. It's gonna bring you more just more headaches in terms of dealing within this world and whatnot, more vexation, all of that, man. It's a more difficult path. It's the path less traveled, man. That's why it's that straight, that difficult path. But that's the path of the election. Only the elect is gonna do that, man. So the path of tribulation, via not submitting yourself to the whims of this devil, that's only the elect is able to receive that, man. Only the elect is able to go through that, man. That's why it says the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Meaning what? 2/3 of our nation, man. 2/3 of our nation are blinded from that, man. They can't see. They're dry bones. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, the 29th chapter. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, and verse 28. I mean, Salaki in verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered. And the vision of all is become unto, actually, I'm gonna stop right there. Well, no, I'm gonna continue. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I'm not learned. So you got 2/3 of our people, man, who are in this mindset right here, who are asleep, who are in deep sleep, but not with but like it says, they're drunken, but not with wine. So it's not with physical wine that they're drunken. They're drunken with philosophies. They're drunken with principles that they live by. They're drunken with things that they accept, doctrines that they accept, lifestyle principles that they engage in. They drunken with envying the oppressor. They drunken with the facade of thinking he's his way is the way. His convictions, his end dates is the way, man. And submitting yourself to his way of living is the way. That's what they drunken with, man. It says they stagger, but not with strong drink. They don't stagger because they drunk. They don't wobble around because they drunk. They wobble around from walking in the right direction because they don't know which way to go. They're always contemplating. Should I go in the way of Yahweh Bashimi, I was shy, or should I go the way of the oppressor, man? And when you double-minded like that, what does the scripture say? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You know, so you can't. So you staggering because you see the way and you don't want to walk in it, like it says in verse 11. It says um and all and the visions of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, "Read this, I pray thee." So the book is right here for you. The book is here. Read it, I pray thee. Meaning, I beseech thee, I beg you. Read. It's right here. Read it. But it says, and he said, "I cannot, for it is sealed." Meaning what? Not that he can't open the book and actually read it. Not that it's sealed, locked, shut. That's not available. But it's sealed because he doesn't have the eyes, the understanding to process it. Two-thirds of our people don't have the mindset to process it, to know what they actually reading when they actually to properly comprehend what they actually reading. You know what I'm saying? To properly discern and break down what they actually reading according to the proper context, the proper Hebrew context. That's the mindset and the spiritual. Well, that's the spiritual and the physical state that two-thirds of our people are in. So that's that blinded right there. Going back to Romans the 11th chapter. That's that rest that will blind it, man. You know, in the time of tribulation, the time of travail is going to prove who can actually see and who's blind. That's the point right there. Is that the devil, Esau, Edom, they want to put everything into the atmosphere. They want to put everything into the world. Bring out the big guns. Bring out everything to make you choose. Are you going to choose to walk that straight path, or are you going to be blinded like majority of people, or not? Even if even if you can see a little bit, you choose to be blind because you don't want to accept reality. See, a lot of people don't want to accept reality of a situation. It's very hard mindset for people. It's a very tough mindset for people to embrace and still live your life every single day, knowing that eventually everything is all this shit is going to be done, man. All this shit is going to end, but still be able to go every day about your daily business and still, keep your sanity. That's that most people don't want to walk in that because it's a very tough mindset to embrace. But that's part of that straight gate because that's difficult to do. It's difficult to wake up every single day, still put your best foot forward at what you got to do that day, but know that ultimately it amounts to nothing. That's a difficult thing to do. And so I'm talking about in terms of the world. Of course, we know in this truth it's gonna amount to everything, but I'm talking about in terms of the world. But hey, shalom to my brother J2K. He says Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shalom. And hey, appreciate you coming through. My brother J2K, man, always showing love, man. Very solid brother right here. Hey, Shalom, bro. Appreciate you coming through. But yeah, man. Two-thirds of our people, that's the mindset they in. But let's go ahead and get into the articles, though. Enough of me talking. All right, let's do this. All right, this is from Fox 26 News Henry. They say they have already set up internment camps. So this is the thing right here, right? Now we understand and we know that part of these New World Order protocols, which is the term I like to use. I don't know if I ever heard someone use that term before. I'm just saying, what I'm saying. If you heard that term, where niggas got it from. But I'm just playing, man. But these New World Order protocols that they're bringing out, part of that is these are internment camps, man, which we know is nothing more than a glorified FEMA camp, glorified quarantine camp. They actually have a approach called the shielding approach. I did a video on this probably about 5 months ago. When talk about this first started to circulate, I did a video going into the shielding approach, breaking it all down. It's on my main channel. Check that out. Just type in Malak Amawan, at the video's title, and cast them out of their houses. He's referencing the scripture in Second Esdras, the 70 the 72nd chapter. So that's the title of the video. But anyway, this is something that we all know is coming, man. So let's go ahead and get into this article and break it down. It says the Washington State Legislature is slated to vote on a measure that will authorize the involuntary detainment of residents as young as 5 years old in C-19, Slovakia, in C-19 concentration camps for failing to comply with the state's experimental V mandate. And the bill, this is the bill right here. As you can see, Washington State Legislature. This is official. If the official website, no fluff, no, fillers, nothing. This is the official Washington State Legislature website, and we can see right here the title of the bill: procedures for isolation or quarantine. As you can see in the first bullet point, the first point they have, it says at his or her sole discretion, a local health officer may issue an emergency detention order causing a person or a group of persons to be immediately detained for purposes of isolation or quarantine in accordance, going to the third subsection, or may petition the superior court ex parte for an order to take the person or group of persons into involuntary detention for purposes of isolation or quarantine in accordance with the fourth subsection. And basically, this is the reasons as to why they would take people, which I'm going to get into that, but I want to go back to this article right here, because as you can see, this article right here is just backing the actual official bill from the legislature of the state of Washington. But let's break down what they say. It says at his or her sole discretion, meaning what? What is that? Martial law, man. His or her sole discretion. That just means basically, if you don't, I mean, these people are in lockstep. These police officers. Well, I wouldn't say just your regular police officer, but them as well. But these high ranking military officials, these especially when the UN soldiers come, and especially when these robo soldiers come, which a lot of people don't think that's true. But these robo soldiers are coming as well. Just do any research on automated soldiers, man, automated super soldiers. They coming, but also even the human form of a quote unquote robo soldier is still a automated form of that, because that individual is gonna be under insane and extreme MK Ultra mind control, man. Damn destructive programming. Not self destructive program, but like homicide program or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Where they just view everyone who doesn't have some form of proof that they're in lockstep with this structure in the system as a terrorist and an enemy, and they can do that because of the what's that called in fucking 2000? What was that shit called? Fuck, man. What was that shit called? Y'all brothers probably know what I'm talking about. Let me look it up real quick on my phone. Basically, a bill that could justify anyone. The Patriot Act, yeah, that's what it was. The Patriot Act, because under the Patriot Act of 2001, it justifies basically anyone can be deemed as a domestic terrorist for not complying with measures that are being instructed and being brought upon society because of a crisis per se. And we know that they've deemed this whole sickness that we got going on right now as a global health crisis. So anyone that doesn't submit themselves to the preferred and the recommended um, protection against said crisis can and will be deemed as a domestic terrorist. So when they say at his or her sole discretion, that's just basically at anyone that they deem to be a domestic terrorist. And it says a local health official officer may issue an emergency detention order causing a person or group of persons to be immediately detained for purposes of isolation or quarantine in accordance with the subsection. So that's basically that's going into what it says right here, the involuntary detainment of residents. So I mean, what is emergency detention. When someone's in an emergency, once when they deem something to be an emergency, that's basically all hands are off. A complete militaristic state in in the world. Everything is off. Everything is on. Everything is free game. You know, no limits, and they could do whatever they want to do. If they see you as a threat, they can just snatch you up and detain you. That's pretty much what's gonna go down, man. Involuntary. That's what involuntary detainment is, and this is coming very very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I did the video on about 5 months ago talking about what was going on in Australia and different parts of the world, but they got these things brewing in Babylon as well, man. That's why, and they have they got it out as well, because the out that they're going to be using is what they call, like I said, what they call the shielding approach. You can look that up. That's an official CDC term. Um, that's the out that they're using to justify their actions. Basically, taking these people off the streets, taking them out of their homes because they're a health risk at that particular period of time. Because especially as they milk this, for how long they gonna milk this? This shit, I mean, this shit is never going away. Salakia. This shit is never going away. So they're gonna milk this, forever, man. For as long as this society is going on. As you can see, we got more and more variants starting to be circulated through the news. More narratives being pushed about certain narratives being circulated through the news. You got the damn Deltacron now, which something that I predicted. I was. It's funny because I wouldn't say I predicted it. I'm not. Let me not go that far. But I was joking around one time with the brothers, and just joking around about these terms, whatnot. Joking around about a morphin term between, or the merging of the morphin between the O and the delta. And I was like, they're gonna call it the damn Deltacron. And as soon as literally, the next day you see news talking about the Deltacron. So I mean, just little silly shit like that. Also them talking about future variants that are gonna be V resistant. I mean, all these things that they're gonna bring to light, you know what I'm saying, or use as narratives in the future that we had in the future, 2022, 2023, and beyond. All those are going to be used to justify detaining people. It's getting so bad that basically and they're going to try to use it as well by saying we've shown through the science, we've shown through different measures, also with the amount of people that's still going to still be in the world, we've shown that there's nothing wrong with taking the jab. There's nothing wrong with people aren't dying in mass droves from the jab, and maybe people aren't dying yet in mass droves from the jab. People are going to eventually do that, but I'm just saying they're going to probably use something around like that to justify their statements, to justify um, why they deem it as the best practice to take people and involuntarily remove them, from their homes and whatnot. All the propaganda they're going to stir up, is going to be used to justify these actions. Like I said, it's called the shielding approach. They're going to basically, for medical terms, they're gonna cast it as this is a place to keep people who are health risk in a safe environment. But really, you're gonna be going to jail. You're gonna be going to a quarantine facility, aka a FEMA camp, an imprisonment camp for not complying with said measures. They already don't want to keep unpoked people in hospitals. They already got that narrative going as well, where they're talking about how the unpoked people are taking up hospital beds. They're taking up valuable care time from the people that have done the right thing and gotten poked. You see that narrative being pushed as well. So they already don't want to keep people and keep people who get sick who are not poked in these hospitals. They're already painting the narrative the unpoked people are the ones that's causing the cases to rise. They're already banning unpoked people from certain functions and whatnot as well. So what they're doing is they're boxing in the unpoked, basically using a variety of different ways to put the unpoked in a box of ostracization from society. So if you're not involved in society, they're gonna be like, okay, you're not involved in society anyway, so we can just put you in an imprisonment camp. We could just put you in a detainment camp, and they're conditioning the mindsets of the poked people to view the unpoked people as a threat as well. So they got justification not just with themselves, but also with the poked people. You see what I'm saying? They're using those two Yeah, we're using a variety of sentiments and narratives to properly justify this action when they do it. Like I said in past videos, it's the what's the word I'm looking for? You need both parties to participate. It's the powers that be, the elites of the society. They need the dumbed down masses to be able to accomplish their goals. Because I don't want to use a cliche term, but there's more of us than there is of them. You know what I'm saying? There's 8 billion people in this world. They need a large majority of people. Now they're gonna kill off a lot of people too. You know, as we all know, according to the 2030 agenda, the Georgia Guidestones, you know, they want to reduce the population to 500 million. So they're gonna a variety of different things, a variety of different demics that are gonna come out in the upcoming years. A lot of different variety of different sicknesses are gonna come out. Really plagues from the Most High. That's what it is at the end of the day. That's ultimately what it is at the end of the day. Most are just using them to accomplish that. But a variety of different sicknesses and whatnot, it's going to kill off a lot of people naturally. But you're also going to have a lot of people who they kill themselves by not by via the non-compliance. And like I said, they're going to be justified in doing so because they already got the minds of the poked people, the ones the ones who are down with them, who think they're actually helping out society by getting the unpoked people away from them because they view those unpoked people as a harm and as a threat to everybody's health and wellness. So they both go hand in hand in that way. But let's continue. It says, if passed, the bill, the WAC 246-100, will allow local health officers at his other sole discretion. I think that meant to say his or her, to issue an emergency detention order causing a person or group of persons to immediately be detained for purposes of isolation or quarantine. It says health officers. I think I read that as officials, but it says health officers are required to provide documentation proving unpoked residents subject to detention have denied the quote unquote quote request of medical exemption, testing, treatment, counseling, poking, decontamination of persons or animals, isolation, quarantine, and inspection and closures of families prior to involuntarily confining unpoked residents in quarantine facilities, the proposal states. So let me break that down. What that's basically saying is that they want to make sure that they've exhausted all efforts to the people, and they're putting that into action right now. What have they done? They've made the poke free. They've made testing free and easily accessible. Not just free, but also easily accessible. You go to any day. When has it ever been a situation outside of just your regular flu shot where you can go where they have some sort of sickness and you can go to you can go on the damn street corner and get a damn poke, man. You could go on the street corner and get a solution to the problem, the V. You know, you could go buy a damn gas on the street that I live on. They got a gas station right there by a corner store where they got a tent set up to get people tested and to get people poked, man. When has that ever been the case? So what they're doing right here is they're putting it into action. They're putting it out there that look, we've given you every opportunity to comply. We've made it free. We've made it easily accessible. We've put it in rundown environments and areas where people don't have transportation. You know, we've done it. We've put it out there in full swing. So you have no excuse not to have been able to have access to get it. We got it available at people's jobs. We got it available at nursing homes. I mean, they basically are saying like, look, we've put it out there for you, but it's you who've chosen not to comply, and that's what they're doing right here when they with these quote unquote. That's what these quote unquote reasonable efforts are, man. Reasonable efforts of compliance. So they're basically saying right here in subsection A, which is quoted in this article right here, that um examination, like I said, they got the testing and examination sites everywhere, man. You know, anytime that you get sick and you go to the doctor, what do? They advise you to test for the C19, man. Even if you just got a regular common cold, they advise you to test for the C19. What they're saying, open examination for it, open testing for it. You can go anywhere down the street, walk down the road and get a test. You know, they got tents set up on nigga street corners, man. They got tests at Walmart, Kroger. Where you go you need food to eat. So what have they done? You need food to eat. So what have they done? They put it so while you go get your groceries, while you get the necessities for your life, you can also go get tested. You can also get V'd, man. That's what they've done. They've made it extremely easy accessible for this reason for this reason right here. So that they can justify, look, we've given you every option. What is that? Those reasonable efforts. Those reasonable efforts for voluntary compliance. Like it says right here in this article. Counseling, uh, jabbing, and basically and all kinds of decontamination sources as well. Whether that be through certain things they've advised you to start cleaning with, sanitation, mask. That's what decontamination is. That's what all that entails, man. So they're saying that we've given you every effort to be able to comply with this right here. But if you don't want to, then what? I want to get that point. That was, oh yeah, if you don't want to, it says prior to involuntarily confining unjabbed residents. So if you don't want to voluntarily comply, you're basically submitting yourself to being confined via involuntarily compliant. That's what you are submitting yourself to. That's what this proposal or this bill is submitting. Now I like to speak on things based upon the narrative they push because I personally believe that all this shit is planned out years and years in advance. But that's just me. I personally believe that they knew 5, 10 years ago that this on this date or around this time period they're going to draft certain bills and have certain things set in stone and set in place. Like I said, the 2021, the 2030 agenda have been around for an entire for a long time, man. Very, very long time. Do some research on that. Been around for a very, very long time. But subsection B, it says has reason to believe that the person or group of persons or is suspected to be infected with, exposed to, or contaminated with a communicable disease of or chemical, biological, or radiological agent that could spread to or contaminate others if remedial action is not taken. What is that? What is remedial action? What is remedial action? That's dragging people out, dragging people out the way, getting people away from those people that they could possibly infect. And what have they done with that right there? They've basically, since the start of this whole fake pandemic, what have they said? They said you can catch C-19 just by breathing. You can catch it just in the air. That's why we got to wear masks because you get within 6 feet of people, you can catch it. All that bullshit, man. So they've already put into the atmosphere that it's easily contractable because of what? So for this reason, well, one of the things for this reason right here, that they could say that you can infect others just by being around them. They've already put into the atmosphere that you're liable to be a health risk just by being around people, you know? And they want to, and when they start taking things to the extreme with these variants, with the resistance to variants, with how bad it's going to get, not just with this, but with other forms of the diseases and sicknesses and plagues that they got down their sleeve, that are coming, 2024, 2025. That's a big year right there, 2026 and beyond. Shit, even sooner than that, man. However long this shit lasts, this shit could be over by then. Who knows, man? But just as this decade goes on, they already got certain diseases that they already got down the line planned to happen, man. You know, so that's gonna be on an extreme level from what we see right now. So because of that, because that's on the extreme, now they put in because that's at the extreme level, that gives them justification to take extreme action. And when they take extreme action, that's when they're gonna start taking people out of their homes, knocking down doors, doing kick doors. They're dragging people out of their homes, military tank trucks outside the cities, patrolling neighborhoods with bordering cities and whatnot. You know, tank trucks out riding through neighborhoods, banging on the door, seeing who's got the serum and who hasn't. You know, knocking down people's apartment buildings, man. Having to actually before you leave your neighborhood, show to the patrol that's patrolling your neighborhood, or before you leave your apartment complex, show to the military patrol that's patrolling your apartment complex, that's watching over your shit, that you've got the poke, you know? And if you haven't, you can be detained because you're deemed as a risk to anyone around you, you know? And like I said, they put that in the atmosphere by this whole time with the programming that you can get the disease and this and the third by just being around people. You can get it by breathing. You can contract it by through the air, an airborne virus. Isn't that what they've been saying? So basically, they've pushed it in a way where if you haven't got the poke, then then all cuffs are off. You know, all cuffs. If you haven't got the poke, then it's like all cuffs are off. Like there's no other way in which you can set yourself as set yourself as an immune person. Set yourself as a person who has no health risk to others around them, because there's so many avenues in which you can contract or can which you can contract the V, man. That's why they had that thing called contact tracing. You know, that contract tracing thing, that was just a movement to push, the narrative that you can get it just by being around people. So when they come down with the hammer on your ass, well, shit on all of us, man, who ain't taking that shit. When they come down with the hammer on us, they can say, oh, you a health risk because you can be around people that 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 have got the poke and you don't want to submit yourself to it. You could harm people that have voluntary submitted, man, have voluntary complied. But since you don't want to comply, we got to take you out. You see what I'm saying? That's how they structure this narrative. It says the measure will also allow health officials to deploy law enforcement officials, man. So what are law enforcement officials? That's damn martial law. That's martial law, bro. That's the military, man. And they've already started doing that in certain states. They got in Hawaii right now with the National Guard being on site in certain areas. The National Guard administering V's, you know, to assist with the arrest of uncompliant Washington residents. Now, this ain't gonna just be in Washington too. This gonna be everywhere, man. Every state in this country. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna trickle down to every state in this country, man. And they're gonna use militaristic force to get people to comply. And what's that gonna do? When people start seeing the military with guns and weapons and their trucks and they might or the alleged might and power, that's gonna put people in such a state of fear that they're gonna submit to it, man. But the script, we don't fear man. We don't fear what man will do to us. You know what I'm saying? We can go to Revelation the second chapter, man. Go to that real quick. This is Revelation chapter 2. Revelation chapter 2 and verse number 10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer." So we don't fear man. We don't fear what man will do to us, man. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days." So what is the devil casting some of us into prison, man? What is this right here? I don't know. I don't know how much more blatant it could be. What is a C-19 concentration camp, man? That they're involuntarily detaining you into, man. That's a damn prison, man. You don't detain someone to bring them into a nursing home. You don't detain someone to bring them into a damn care facility, an outpatient clinic. You know, you detain someone to bring them into damn jail, man. That's how when you go make an arrest. What's that job called? A bounty hunter. When a bounty hunter is coming to catch someone on the run, man, what are they doing? They're detaining that suspect, man. You know, when the police go arrest someone, man, what are they doing? They're detaining the suspect, man, to bring into what, a room for interrogation. When a detective, yeah, that's what I meant. When a detective gets the they detaining them, man, for interrogation or for whatever measure, or even to arrest them, man. So when you detain someone, that's bringing them against their will to your facility to keep them hostage, man. That's a damn prison. So that proves this scripture right here. It's saying that, and this is, like I said, this is official Washington State legislation, man. Basically saying that they're going to bring people into prison, into jail, who are not wanting to comply with certain measures. But I'm gonna go over that precept again. It says Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So we're instructed, we're ordered, we're commanded, to be faithful, man. If we don't want if we don't want that if we want that crown of life, if we want that crown of immortality, everlasting life, we got to be faithful unto death, man. So in these FEMA camps, what they gonna do? They're gonna bring in that guillotine. They're gonna try to starve people. They're gonna try to deprive people of necessities for that we need to live, like food and water and shit like that. To try to get us to submit, man. But we know that the Most High is gonna keep us. We don't know how it's gonna happen. We know the Most High is gonna make a way for us, man. The Most High may put a spirit on us where, man, we just able to fast like crazy, man. We would just fast for days, man. It may be harder sometimes, but we could do it, man. You may not been able to do it, right now, but you may get in the FEMA camp, and the Most High just gives you a spirit where you can fast for damn 3 weeks, man. With just water. You know, you may not have been able to do that now, but you might be able to do it in the FEMA camp. Most High might give you that spirit to do so, man. Or you may have it where you're able to. I don't know how, but you're able to get food, man. Who knows if you're in a FEMA when you go to the FEMA camp? Who knows, man? But hey, Shalom, bro. Obina, the water for coming through, bro. He said not to mention certain incentives that have been given people for not for giving that they've given people for taking the V. Absolutely, that as well, man. They've incentivized the V. You know, offering promotions at work, bonuses at work. Free food like they did with the damn Krispy Kreme donuts. You know, cash back bonuses, all that bullshit, man. That they've given people, scholarships and tuition. I mean, yeah, free tuition and shit like that for college and scholarships. Ability to do things at a cheaper rate. Incentive they just V incentives, man. That they've pushed in this world, and that's gotten a lot of people to capitulate and fold, man. That's part of that tribulation too. Seeing that something might look like a better option, something that some might look like, damn, this is the way I should go in. You know, the other option seems kind of bleak, but this is gonna give me an even easier pathway. Maybe I should do this, man. Maybe, especially a lot of these Christians, they'll convince themselves that that this is God, opening the door for them or some shit. you know? I mean, we got all that, man. But appreciate you coming through though, bro. Say Shalom, Mark. Glad to be tuning in. Hey, appreciate you coming through. And all the brothers that came through, man. Hey, how about Shemal Shah? Barakatah to all you brothers, man. J2K, Big Al 144, the Water Brothers. Brown Dude Life. Hey, what's good, bro? Brown Dude Life. I remember you from what's the name's channel. He said, good evening, folks, and Malak. Don't forget free sex and lap dance. Oh yeah, forgot about that, bro. That shit too, man. That propaganda has been out there talking about how Not taking not taking the V can give you erectile dysfunction. It's a bunch of crazy shit, man. Matter of fact, taking the V might actually give you erectile dysfunction, man. You probably got a better chance of getting erectile dysfunction taking the V. Real talk. Your blood flow get all fucked up. Can't breathe no more. Can't circulate. Your blood don't circulate no more. You know what I'm saying? You fucked up down there, nigga. That shit might happen, bro. But yeah, lap dances at these. I remember that shit. I forgot who it was, what celebrity they used for that. But oh yeah, they was talking about like some like brothel or whatever in Vegas. It was some shit like that. I can't remember the exact topic that it was. And me and King Ref, we done been talking about this, man. We've been talking about this for years, man. Well, for the past year about the different bullshit incentives, with these celebrities and these different whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to, and which they gonna keep doing to try to convince people to take the jab. These meet and greets, free lap dance with such and such. A celebrity that niggas done been lusting over for years. Free lap dance from such and such woman. Boom. Or a look-alike. Boom. Nigga jabbed up. That's how that should be going down, man. But continuing back into the article, like I said, the water for all you brothers coming through. It says the measure allows health officials to deploy law enforcement. So that, like I said, that martial law right there, man. What does law enforcement do? Law enforcement makes arrests, man. So it's not talking about bringing you into, like I said on the other video I did with the CDC shielding approach, which that's what this is right here. That's they're categorizing it as, or painting the picture that it's some kind of facility where they take people who are in need of help. They take people who, who are getting sick because of said environment, and they don't want to get the V, or they're removing you from infecting other people, but we're giving you a place to stay and a one bed to lay on and food and water, 3 square meals a day, all that shit, man. No, this is prison, man. What is law? Like I said, law enforcement makes arrests. It's not Sally's cleaning service coming to take you out of your house and take you to a damn quarantine facility. It's law enforcement, nigga. It's police officers. It's military officials. It's UN soldiers. It's RoboCops. That's who's coming to arrest people, man. Right? I mean, that's who's coming to bring people into quarantine camps. What is that? That's an arrest. Oh, see, it even says right here with the arrest of uncompliant Washington residents. So it even says it. Oh shoot. There you go. They even telling you, man. I wanted to touch on another point in this article. I mean, this bill. It says in subsection C, it says has reason to believe that the person or group of persons will pose a serious or imminent risk to the health and safety of others if not detained for purposes of isolation or quarantine. And that's the whole thing about it. Painting the picture that the unjabbed up people are a health risk. Like I said earlier, they could do that according to the Patriot Act, because you would then be deemed as a domestic terrorist because you are a risk to the country's well-being. It says a local health officer may invoke the powers of police officers, sheriffs, constables, I don't know what that is, and other officers and employees of any political subdivision within the jurisdiction of the health department to enforce immediately, or I think I might say immediate orders given to effectuate the purposes of this section in accordance with the provisions of RCW, and then the number. It says if a local health officer orders the immediate and voluntary detention of a person or groups of persons for purposes of isolation or quarantine. Then it's got a bunch of bullshit right here about how it's trying to paint it there's gonna be some kind of ethical quarantine. Man, fuck all that, man. That's bullshit. It's the how are they gonna get people to comply if you sit into a jail where it's all peaches and roses, man? They gotta make it tough, because that gets people to submit. You submit when times of travail, man. You submit, like, even to the Most High. A nigga might be hard headed and stiff necked, man, but you'll submit to the Most High. The Most High puts you in a tough position where you need Him, man. You got to call out to him. You got to pray to him. You ain't got no option, man. You looking up. You like, man, I need help. I need safety. I need a savior right now. I'm in a tough position. I can't get myself out of this. I need divine help, man. So the same way in the left hand path, man. They try to get you to submit, via putting you in a tough position. So you already know because of that, the quarantine camps ain't gonna be they ain't gonna be no damn retirement home and no outpatient facility where you got board games and chess and well that's a board game. You got TVs we can watch the game and all that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Four meals a day, snacks, a vending machine. It ain't gonna be like that, man. Visitors come see you, man. Nah, man. It's gonna be jail, man. It's gonna be solitary confinement too, probably, man. It's gonna be damn Rikers, man. People gonna be upset in there. People gonna be lacking for food. They might start eating each other, man. Fights breaking out. People upset because they can't see their families. They got removed abruptly from their environment. They had to uproot their whole life, And then that's gonna be and then them drilling you into that environment, them grilling you every day on the daily with propaganda, about how you can just get out of this if you just do this. You just submit yourself to this, man. We'll set you free. And then you look at your environment, your surroundings. You're like, man, I don't want to live in this shithole, man. Let me just do it. I'll submit. Fuck it. Not even with just the jab, man. Going to the MOTB as well, because when that comes on the scene soon, which they already got that brewing. When that comes on the scene in full swing, that's gonna be another tool that they use to quantify safety. So when people don't take that, they can also be deemed as a health risk. They can also be deemed as a terrorist because they're a health risk, because they're not going to the maximum capacity to protect themselves and their fellow Americans. That's what they're gonna say. It's like, let me get some water. But yeah, all measures and all ways in which they're gonna get people to capitulate, man. Not just with the jab, but with the CHIP as well. Like I said, when that comes in full circle, in full swing, and that's all. I think that's all I wanted to get. Because, like I said, the rest of this is a bunch of bullshit about talking about how the measure, basically going into the measures that they're gonna have the quarantine facilities in. But ultimately, that shit really don't matter because you're still in damn prison, man. It don't matter how well they treat you. It don't matter how the amount of days in which they're gonna hold you in the facility. That's just a bunch of fluff and bullshit. Because, like I said, they gotta make the situation. They gotta make the living quarters that you're gonna be in as hostile and as harsh as possible, to get people to submit themselves in droves, or also get people to just die off as well. Because either one they prefer. Because then you got more people. You either got people who are down with the program, or people who just die off for not being down with it, whether that be being killed or just dying of natural causes, quote unquote. Hunger, famine, things of that nature. So yeah, they already got this going right here, man. And I want to end off with this precept right here, the classic, and going over this. Matter of fact, let's get that James first. Let's get James the first chapter first. And then we're gonna go to Second Esdras. This is James 1:12. Blessed is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. So we gonna have to endure that temptation, man, that tribulation, man. And part of that tribulation, if that may be a lot, is to have to go in one of these internment camps, man. Not every brother's gonna be in that situation, but if that happens to be you, if you are cast into prison, if you do have to get beheaded, like it says in Revelation, the 20th chapter and the 4th verse, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai, if you gotta be beheaded while in one of these FEMA camps, these internment camps and whatnot, then hey, it is what it is, man. You got to stay faithful in the death. But what's coming on the opposite end is that crown of life. So it's like you doing it, and of course, when we get into truth, we know what death is anyway, man. You're just going to the spirit world, man. It's all you done. You run your race, you finish your course. Time to wait for the return of Yahweh Shai at that point in time. While in the spirit world. So it's really nothing to fear, you know, especially because when this time period comes right here, this world is gonna be in such a disarray. This world is gonna be in such a confused state of mind. Though you ain't gonna want to be here anyway. We think that we crying for vexation now. When this shit come, we really gonna be crying for vexation to get the hell up out of here, man. We're looking up to see what our redemption draws, man. You know, we really gonna be waiting and begging and pleading for the Lord to come back, man. So we're not gonna want to partake. We're not gonna be able to, even if we wanted to, we still could we're not gonna be able to participate in this society if we don't have the wicked measures, man. If we don't have the prerequisites for participation, man, which is gonna be that jab and that CHIP, you know? So there's no participating in society, even if you wanted to, without that. So it's gonna be nothing to just die for the Lord. You're like, you know what? I ain't got nothing to live for here anyway. Fuck it. I just died, man. I'll just go out. At least you going out. Hey, you going out for the Lord, like the scriptures say. It's an honorable thing to die for the name of Yahweh Shah, man. Let me get that. Let's go to Romans the 14th chapter. Go to Romans chapter 14. This is Romans chapter 14 and verse 7. For none of us liveth to himself, and no man died to himself. For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's. For this is the end, Christ both died and rose and revived, that he might be Lord both of the dead and the living. Now that goes into the resurrection as well, but that's a whole other point. That's a whole other point. The point is verse 8. You know what I'm saying? We live, we die, we die. We still the Lord, man. You know. So whether we live, or whether we have to go out, whether we see the coming of Yahweh Shai, or whether we have to die, we sent to the spirit world, and then we get raised up and see Yahweh Shai. Whatever it may be, it's all honorable in the sight of the Lord, man. So if you got to die, take that cheerfully. You know what the scriptures say? Let's go to James real quick, man. Let's go to James, the first chapter. No, it's not James. It's Sirach. It's Sirach. Sirach chapter 2. This is Sirach 2 and 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient without change to a lower state. So whatever is brought upon us, man, we gotta take it cheerfully, man. And we have it easier. It's easier for us to take it cheerfully when we know what's actually valuable in this world. When we can recognize the world around us and say, you know what, it's so damn wicked. I don't want to participate in anyway, man. I don't want to be in this shit anyway, man. Fuck it. When you faced with that guillotine, you like fuck it, man. Like I don't got nothing to live. I ain't got nothing to live for here anyway. I'm gonna just die for the Lord. I'm gonna go out, strong for the Lord, man. And Lord will that I'm of the elect, and I get raised up, know, one of the first ones to get raised up when Yahweh Shah returns, as it says in 1 Thessalonians 4, man, because that hope is in the kingdom and not in this society. That makes the tribulation easier, man. So when the tribulation gets stronger and stronger and stronger, when it boils over more and more, when we're in Jacob's, when Jacob's trouble gets hotter and hotter and hotter, man, you know, you get more and more and more detached. You get more and more and more numb to the shit of this world, man. And you're like, man, fuck it, man. You may have a nice career, you may have a nice family, but you know that none of that matters more than righteousness. You know, none of that matters if if that is causing you to participate in a world that conflicts with your moral compass, man. That doesn't matter if, in order to have that, it like a nice life, like all those things. If you got to have that in order to in order to have in order to have that, you got to participate in the world that is against your God, man. Against and pushes the ways against your God, man. Your power. You shouldn't want to participate in that world anyway, man. I mean, when I say that, I mean in a blatant way where it's like you got to do this or you can't participate at all. Right now, we still got to do what we got to do. You know, right now, you know, brothers may have certain goals they want to accomplish, whatnot. While it's still, you know, you still can do it. You know what I'm saying, and still be able to do certain things to put yourself in a better position. Nothing wrong with doing that. That's what brothers should be doing. You know, but when it comes down to it, and it's like, in order to do anything in this world, you gotta be stamped, you gotta be marked, you know, you gotta be poked up in order to do anything in this world. You shouldn't want to participate in anyway, man. You should want to say fuck it and just be like, and just endure and wait for the Lord to return, man. And if you get on, if you have to be on that chopping block, man, you take that cheerfully, man, because you're like, you know what, hey, if that's what the Lord got for me, and ain't nothing here to live for anyway. So I'm gonna go out strong for the Lord, man. I want to get this precept right here as well. Let's go to the book of Philippians. This the book of Philippians, chapter 1. Let's see. There we go. This is the book of Philippians, chapter 1, and verse 25. And having this confidence, I know that I shall abide and continue with you all for your furtherance and joy of faith, that your rejoicing may be more abundant in Yahweh Shai Mashiach for, for me by my coming to you again. Only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Yahweh Shai, that whether I come and see you or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that ye stand fast in one spirit and with one mind, striving together for the faith in the gospel. We stand, you know, we stand with the gospel, man. You know, our conversation is with the gospel, man. That's the most important thing. You know, everything else comes second to the gospel. We rejoice in Yahweh Shai. Our conversation, meaning our thoughts, our understanding, what we really care for, is with Yahweh Shai, man. It says in verse 29, and unto you it is given in behalf in the behalf of Christ, not only to believe on him, but also to suffer for his sake. So we got to suffer for him, man. We don't just believe. In order to believe, you got to suffer like he suffered, man. In order to believe, you got to be willing to go through that suffering, man. That shows that you really believe. That shows that you're really down for the team, man. You know, I mean, even in the world, in order to prove someone to be a brother, someone is really a brother when in tough situations, man. When you know, when you maybe some conflict might come up, and that brother, how he handles himself in that conflict, or maybe some disagreement on something, and how brothers handle themselves, that proves what brother spirits like, man. You know, you may have a disagreement. Do you call the brother up and ask him about it? Do you try to talk to the brother behind the scenes, or do you blast that nigga on social media, man? What do you do? Because blasting them on social media, that's taking a cop out route, man. That's not suffering. Because the suffering, that's easy to do. It's easy to just Because what that does is that alleviates you from that situation. We just blast them, they don't want to talk to you no more. So you know what? You've alleviated yourself from the situation. Or you get into an argument, which when you get you just going, it's just too emotional. People going back and forth at that point in time. That doesn't cause you to actually sit down, think about things, get into the tough questions and the tough answers, man. That's what having a conversation does. That's what dealing with that that's what dealing with that conflict does, hand to hand. You got to use discernment, you got to use brotherly love, you got to use wisdom to properly assess things, see where you were right and see where you were wrong, you know. And when in that situation right there, you can see where brother spirit really lies, man. So how much more, with Yahweh Bashmi Al us, man? How much more that? He got to see where we really lie, man. He got to see if we're willing to suffer. We're willing to go through the tribulation. We're willing to go through the hell, man. We're willing to be cast out of our homes. We willing to be put in the FEMA camp. We're willing to be ostracized. You know, that's suffering for his sake. But let's go to the precept though in Second Ezra. This is the granddaddy of them all right here. This proves exactly this article. This is Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So what does that sound like, man? What does a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord sound like? People who for some reason don't want to submit themselves, especially if it's rooted in and foundation in the true God of the Bible. Now you are gonna have Christians as well and other nations and whatnot who believe in some sort of higher power who are not going to submit themselves to this as well. You know, but just focusing on us, that's who this book is about. That insurrection is gonna come, man, because you fear the Lord more than men, and who you fear the most is who you gonna obey the most. Who you fear the most is who you gonna submit to the most. So Esau wants you to fear him because that sets up in your mind frame that you gotta submit your whole lifestyle to him, man. He wants you to fear him more because then you'll bypass everything that you think that you care about, all your morality, everything for him. That's why he wants you to fear him the most, man. You know, 71, verse 71. And that great insurrection, that's talking about that martial law, man. That's talking about this right here, man. Matter of fact, let's get it from the official legislature, man. What was that point I wanted to get? Point two. It says a local health officer may invoke the powers of police officers, sheriffs, constables, and other officers and employees of any political subdivision within the jurisdiction of the health department to enforce immediately orders given to effectuate the purposes of this section. So they're gonna be giving orders to basically round people up, man. You know, and they just do what they're told. These police officers, these sheriffs, your regular soldiers, and then when the UN soldiers come in, when the Robo soldiers come in, when the MK Ultra soldiers come in, they already programmed to do that. You know, so they're just gonna do whatever they told, man. Do whatever their handlers tell them to do whatever their boss tell them to do, and whatnot. These military members who are in that sort of protection, quote unquote protection type field, or public health and safety type field, quote unquote health officials. You know, they basically gonna do the orders that they're given. They're gonna perform the orders that they're given. So what is that? That's a great insurrection. You're gonna have a mass amount of these people to round a lot of people up, man. That's a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. That's martial law right there. They shall be like madmen, sparing none. We see all the movies where maybe some invasion, or maybe it's situation where they rounding people up for whatever reason. That's gonna be like madmen, man. They're gonna be sparing none, just dragging people out, not sparing people's lives or sparing the emotional connection to the people that they gotta leave away from or be cast away from. Not sparing how you may feel about you know whether you want to go or not. Sparing none. So not having no care for if you want to go or not, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And they're gonna be killing people too. You know. So this is exactly this right here, man. Because it says it highlights that involuntary detainment. What's that phrase I want to get? Here we go. Involuntary detention, man. You know? So they're highlighting that it's not gonna be a choice whether you want to go or not. You know? In order to accomplish that on the people, they have to be like madmen. They gotta come in with so much force that no humans can stop them. So they gotta come with that madman energy. Verse 72. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So how they gonna cast people out their houses, man? Let's go to this point in the article. It says if such and such bill is passed, it will allow local health officers at his, or I think that means to say his or her, sole discretion to issue an emergency detention, causing any person or a group of persons to be immediately detained. That's casting people out their houses, man. Detaining people from their homes. Emergency detention. When something's an emergency, all cuffs are off. You barging indoors, you kicking shit down, you doing whatever you got to do to get your goal accomplished. That's what you're doing in an emergency, man. If your house is on fire, you ain't going back to get your damn wallet, your phone, man. You got to get out your damn house, man. If the room right next to you is on fire and that fire is boiling over, it's kindling quicker and quicker and quicker, man. I'm not kindling, but it's it's ramping up more and more and more, man. You got to get out your damn house, man. All bets are off. You do whatever you can. You do whatever you got to do to get out of that situation because it's an emergency. It's the same way with this. They gonna do whatever they got to do to detain people, man. They're gonna be kicking doors down, busting through windows, detaining people in their cars, dragging people out their homes, busting down doors in the home, in the apartment, dragging people out their closets if they hiding, dragging people from under the bed, flipping shit over, all that shit to accomplish their goal, which is detaining the unpoked and the unchip'd as well, man. When that comes. And that's proven in scripture. It says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. They ain't gonna have no care for your goods, man. You got your nice big 72-inch TV set up, cost you thousands of dollars to get. Got your surround system, you know. Got your PlayStation and your Xbox set up, man. Got your MacBook Pro and all that, man. All that shit gonna get thrown over, man. They looking for you because you a terrorist, man. That's the reality we got to get ourselves in, man. We got to start viewing ourselves like that. Cause that's how they gonna paint us. So you better get used to being painted that way. Because even though it may be a narrative, the action of it is gonna be 100% real. I mean, the opposing force action is gonna be 100% real, man. And that's part of the casting them out of their houses, man. It says the measure also allows health officials to employ law enforcement officials to assist with the arrest of uncompliant Washington residents. And what's uncompliant, man? Like we read earlier, uncompliant is not submitting itself to the measures of protection and safety this system offers, even though they're giving you ample time, ample opportunity. Like it says, voluntary compliance with requests for medical exemption, testing, treatment, counseling, jabbing, decontamination. They give you every option, man, to not be a health risk. And you still are because you're not gonna have this one right here. This one right here. So you don't got this one right here, this V one, all the other shit don't matter. And it's gonna be the C as well. Not this counseling, but CH, not CO, CHIP. You ain't got them two, then none of the other shit matter, man. You are deemed as a terrorist, as a terrorist via being a health risk to the well-being of the country. You know, and that's the ones who the law enforcement officials are coming after because you'll be deemed uncompliant at that point in time. Because it's gonna get so bad, and it's gonna be the only solution to it, especially when that CHIP come. It's gonna be deemed as one of the sole solutions for the problem. That's how they're gonna cast it and paint it. You don't want to get that. You're gonna be uncompliant, and you're gonna have to go, man. And that's casting them out of the house and taking away their goods right there. It says, "Then shall it be known who are my chosen. They shall be tried as the gold in the fire." So it's gonna be known at that point in time who the Lord's chosen are, man. Because Lord will have that number, man. We're gonna get tried 10 days in the prison. 10 being a complete amount of time, a set number of days. You know, we'll be tried as gold. We're gonna be refined. Got to go through that tough period where it's really, molding us to be real men of the Lord, man. Molding us to be those elect, man. Those 144,000 Lord willing men. Those true judges and gods, man. That's what it's promising us to be. Try not go in the fire, man. And proving whether we as precious as we say we are, man. Because it's easy to sit here and say right now, when ain't no real big time tribulation coming. I know brothers have lost their jobs. I know brothers have lost their careers. I know brothers that lost, their ability to continue in the career choice they was doing, man. Their ability to continue in the schooling they was going through, man. That's tough. It's hard, man. So that's tribulation right there. But shout out to all them brothers that have not submitted to the mandates, man. Even though it pretty much uprooted their whole lives, man. Shout out to all y'all brothers, man. But it's coming to all of us, man. All of us are eventually gonna have to do it in some way, shape, or form. Because the restrictions are coming down quicker and quicker, and they're eventually gonna encompass more and more people. Right now, the restrictions are targeting certain people. The mandates are targeting certain people. But soon it's gonna encompass all, man. And once it encompasses all, it's gonna be that's gonna be all right, man. This is your time to shine. That's when the Most High gonna be like, all right, you say that you this, now prove it. Show me. You say that you this, you say that you that. Show me. Show me that you this. Show me that you that. Show me that you really want to be 144,000. That time is coming. That's being tried in the fire, man. You don't want no gold, no real gold. I mean, you may get some. We may buy some shit from the store or from an online site, some cheap $100 shit. I'm talking about if they marketed it, like for example, you got a jeweler, right? The jeweler is marketing it as real gold. If he's marketing it as real gold, you're gonna pay a real gold price for it. You want that shit to be real gold, man, or what the society deems as real gold, because we still know it's not real gold. What society deems as real gold. It's not the most precious gold. That regular people don't have access to shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But just as precious as it can get from just people from an average person perspective. If they're selling to you as real gold, you want that shit to be tried in the fire, man. You want to make sure that's a precious gold, man. You want to make sure that your diamonds are precious, man. Your diamonds are tried and true. Same thing with us. We don't tried and true diamonds, man. We that tried and true gold. But we gotta prove it. We gotta prove it, man. And this process right here is part of proving it, man. Like I said, when all this comes down to pass, the Most High gonna be like, show me now. That's why it says, and then shall it be known who are my chosen. It says in verse 75, actually verse 74, hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same, like we read in Jeremiah 30:7. The time of Jacob's trouble, where he shall be saved out of it. You ain't gonna save yourself, man. I will deliver you from the same. You ain't gonna climb out of it yourself. You ain't gonna climb through the cracks of the FEMA camp. You ain't gonna climb through the airwaves and the vents of the FEMA camp like you're in a damn movie escaping. That shit ain't real life, man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna, have no super strength like Samson and be able to separate the gates and open the gates up and squeeze through the cracks. Nah, man. It ain't gonna happen like that, man. You ain't gonna be able to outsmart the CO, you know what I'm saying, and use your mental acumen to be able to get him to free you. No, it don't work like that. You ain't if they got a female CO, you ain't gonna be able to seduce the female CO, man. She let you hit and then you bounce. It don't work like that either, though, man. You know what I'm saying? It don't work like that. You know, you got to be saved out of it. And the Most High's got to come and bring His Son to deliver you out of it. But you know what? That deliverance may not come until you die, because you might get beheaded. But you can't think in your head, damn, the Most High didn't want me. He killed me, man. We know the scriptures say that some of us are gonna be beheaded. So if you got to be put in that guillotine, you got to have faith that, hey, you know what? Maybe I was just one of them brothers. But this was my lot. You can't turn your back at the last instant on the Most High. It'll be a damn shame to lose the faith and still get beheaded. You don't lost your faith. You're using the guillotine. You don't lost your faith, and you think the Most High to turn his back on you. You don't curse the Most High, and then your ass still got beheaded, man. You're gonna get beheaded anyway. Might as well believe. Might as well keep your faith in the Most High. That way you die a righteous death, not a wicked death, man. You die for Christ's sake. You die for the sake of Yahweh Shah, man. It says in verse, and when you go into Revelation 20th chapter, let's go to that. I'm not gonna read the whole scripture, but it says that they will be headed for the witness of Yahweh Shah and the word of the Most High. You can't be beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shah if you deny Yahweh Shah the second before you get beheaded, man. You're no longer a witness at that point. You know, you're only a witness if you stay faithful. You're only a witness if you continue to testify through your actions, even if you even in the face of adversity and death, man. Hey, what our forefather Job say, man? Let's go to Job. I think it's Job the 13th chapter. No, Job went through his trials and tribulations, but Job Job symbolically represents the elect of the nation. Let's go to Job. I think it's Job chapter 13. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. Let me look it up. No, I think that is 13. I think it is 13. I might be tripping. I think that is 13. Yeah, it is. I was right. It was 13. Yep. Job 13 and 15. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. But I will maintain my own ways before him. He also shall be my salvation. For an hypocrite shall not come before him. So who is that hypocrite? Who is the one that's going to boast himself up to be God in these last days? Let's go to 2 Thessalonians, man. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember, verse 5, Slakia, verse 5. Remember ye not. I ain't gonna get all that, but I want to just stay on the point. But like the son of perdition, the man of sin is the one who, in these last days, is gonna be exalting himself like he is God. Man, now that goes into a couple different things. In the worldly sense, that's Esau, Edom, but also the pagan gods as well that they represent in the flesh, and whatnot as well. But that's a whole other topic. Um, but that's who calls himself God, though. Who's exalting himself with his pride that he is God. Doesn't it say in Obadiah the first chapter they had the pride, they had extreme amounts of pride? Let's go to Obadiah. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 3. We're going into Esau Edom. Verse 1, it tells you that this thus said the Lord concerning Edom. So we know that who this is dealing with, man. Verse 3, Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? When someone's saying, who shall bring me down, they're talking like they God, man. They're talking like they God. Oh, that's only a God would say, who's gonna bring me down? I'm God. Who gonna trample me? That's someone who's a God who fashioned themselves as a God would say. And that's what Esau Edom is doing. It says, opposed and exalted himself above all that is called God. So basically replacing what other people call God. People around the world have their own version of God. Now we know there's only one true God, but people around the world have their own versions and names for what they call God. But Esau Edom is opposed and exalted himself above all that. So the Arab man's God, the Asian man's God, the Filipino man's God. Well, that is Southeast Asian. Asia's not a race, but y'all know what I mean. The Australian man's God, the Russian man's God, the Hamitic African man's God. I say that term Hamitic African because all Africans are not Hamitic as well, but that's a whole nother topic. But the Hamitic African man's God, shit, white Jesus that niggas in America reverence, man. Shit, his own God, man. His own people's God. He want to exalt himself and the pagan gods that he represents in the flesh above all of that, man. So they start worshiping them. They start actually worshiping Baal. They start actually worshiping the damn Baphomet, man. That's the picture that Esau Edom want to paint in this world, man. Because of that pride. So they want you to believe on them to be God, instead of who you know to be the one living true God. So like in verse 75 it says, "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God, which his name is Yahweh, is your guide." But he wants to be your God. So he wants to be your guide. He wants to be the God that guides you. Someone's gonna guide you, man. Like I say frequently, we're not soul entities, man. Well, we have no person that created us. We have a created, man. I forget what scripture that is in Sirach. Some of you brothers may know that scripture in Sirach that talks about how the created serves the creator. I forgot what that precept is though. It's been a minute. But Esau wants to be the God that guides you instead of your actual created God that guides you. But this right here is a separating factor. Verse 76. And the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord Yahweh. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. That's the difference factor. That's the difference maker. Who serves the real God, the real one true God, Yahweh, and who serves the fake God, Esau, the little g God. Is the keeping of the commandments and the precepts. Having the faith. That's the difference maker right there. And those are going to be the ones who really endure to the end, because that hope and what your God, your power, your Lord has promised you is what's going to keep your endurance to the end. That's what's going to keep you with some sort of stability when everything around you is chaotic. That's what's going to keep you believing on that slither of hope that you got, that you're going to have when all things seem bleak, when everything around you seems destitute and bleak and you're gonna seem crazy to the outside looking in, like they're gonna say, "Oh, why would your God do this to you?" But you know why He is. You know you gotta be tried. Because you got the wisdom of the scriptures to know that this has to happen. There's nothing you could do to get around it. So you might as well endure through it. You might as well. You know this has to happen before you can get the kingdom. So you gonna go through it. But the rest of the world don't have that understanding. So when they go through the hard times, when they go through the tribulation, they're gonna fold up. You know, they're gonna fold up because they don't understand that this has to happen. They're gonna deem it as unfair. They're gonna think it's why would God do this if He loves me? That's what they're gonna say. But you know that it's a mental shift with us. We know that He loves us so much. He's got to do this, man. He's got to put us through this because He loves us that much. You know. Hey, man, let's go to Hebrews the 12th chapter, man. This is Hebrews 12 and 7. If ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? And a great father loves his son to death, man. A great father is willing to die for his son. So the Father Yahweh deals with us as sons. It means He's got a great deal of love for us. Meaning what? He has to chasten us, man. He has to prove us, man. He has to show. He has to put ourselves in that position so we can even show ourselves that we built for this, man. We can prove to ourselves, I'm really built for this, man. And ultimately, at its highest level, we can show Him that we built for it too. And so He can teach us lessons. You know, it says if you don't partake in that chastisement, you're a bastard. That's what it says in verse 8. You know, so it's a different mindset with us in the truth. But the chastening has to happen because He loves us, because He wants us to learn from our actions, because He wants us to truly, sincerely change. He wants us to truly and sincerely be fit and ready to rule in the kingdom, man. But part of that has to come through through trial and tribulation. That has to come through tough times. You can't just get it. You want to appreciate it, man. He loves us so much. He wants us to truly appreciate and love and bask in the glory of the kingdom. You wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't just come out of hell, man. And not everybody's gonna be in the FEMA camp. Not gonna be everybody a lot. I'm just making that point to say. But yeah, this whole approach right here, this whole internment camp, Washington State legislative bill and whatnot, just going to prove and show right here that prophecy is starting to kick off, man. Prophecy is starting to really show itself. You know, this is literally prophecy going into being cast out of your homes, man. I was gonna touch on these as well, but it's been like 2 hours, man. Probably not. They Messiah came through. Shalom, bro, Messiah, for coming through. Appreciate you coming through and supporting, bro. So it's crazy how sleazy evil how you pay for thousands, chemotherapy and treatment of diabetes, but we'll pay you for the. That's crazy, yeah. That is crazy. We'll pay you for the shot, man. That's wild, man. Going to show you what he deems as valuable and what he deems as throwaway shit. Shit that he created to destroy. Anytime he gonna give you the shit for free, it's bad for you. Or pay you to get the shit, it's bad for you. Because if he deemed it as any kind of value, any kind of thing, anything that was worth a value to him, then he would make you buy into it. They do that with everything else in this life. But I want to tell you this real quick as well, because this goes to Walmart's closing down. Now we all know why that's happening, to make way for these FEMA camps. I just want to touch on that. I'm not gonna go into that article because, like I said, it's been about an hour. I mean, it's been almost 2 hours. So with that, I want to give all the praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Kakwadash. Lord, what this lesson was edifying for the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel only. Abba, Babal, Kam Yasharallah, Shalom, keep the faith.